he will not have his dad. He will have pictures, he will have history, he will have family that tells him about his dad on both sides of the family, but he will not have his biological father. And no one can replace his biological father. And I am very upset how he was killed. Very upset that the officer is not charged, I guess, in my opinion, with more severity at this point. I hope that changes. However, my focus is to make sure he's okay and that he is safe and has a happy life, and that we have good memories to give him of his father, and that if anything comes out of this awful tragedy, that it's prevented, or these things aren't repeatedly as they're happening today, as we see it all across the world in the African American community. And I'm just really thankful to have press here to get this side of the family's perspective of everything, because it affects everyone, the community, the entire world. So I appreciate that, and being able to speak on behalf of Daunte Jr. And he deserves a better outcome. He deserves a better outcome than what he's gotten. And I want him to have a happy, fulfilled life and be able to have a good education and not be, bad memories. He can look back on this and say, hey, something's changed because of this tragedy. And that's what we're hoping. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Her name? My name is Thomas Bowers, B as in boy, O-W-E-R-S.
It's Erica, E-R-I-C-A. Whitaker is W-H-I-T-A-K-E-R. Thank you.
And next we'll recall you coming up next? Yeah. Okay, come on up.
Hi. Good evening. My name is Darren Logan. I'm Erica's husband. I'm China's stepfather, and Milana and Daunte's grandfather. It's a tragic event what happened to their father, and it's Daunte. He's really gonna need support, and he's a good kid, a very good kid, and I love him, and they love me. I enjoy spending time with him, and I enjoy doing things that his father's not here to do, and it's a tragic that his father was taken away from him and the capacity that he was taken away. And Daunte gonna need all the support that he needs from all of his family members, because we're gonna give him a lot of love, a lot of support, and we're gonna be there for him. Thank you.
Next we'll have China come up, who's the mother of young Daunte Jr.
Hi everyone. My name is China Whitaker, and I'm the mother of Daunte Wright Sr.'s son, Daunte Jr. I never thought, in a million years, that this would happen. Everything's still all really just hitting me now, because I still haven't really fully understood everything going on right now. I'm just really hurt for my son, because he doesn't have his father now, and it's kind of stressful on me, because I really don't want to do this by myself, and I feel like I'm by myself, but then there's so many people that's supporting me and sending me stuff, and it really means a lot to me. It's what's keeping me together, and I just wanted to say thank you for all those people that are donating and sending me messages and all the love. I mean, it's really amazing. It's really a blessing. And I just want my son to be taken care of. And I really can't believe this. I just hope that everything works out in the end. And that's all I want to say.
Here, let me give you It's really unbelievable that we could be actually standing in the shadow of the George Floyd trial And it seems like we just can't get it right as a people. I think we've got to solve this problem and get it right. We've got a young child who's lost his father. I've got 2 young boys at home. I've got a 4-year-old, and I've got an 8-year-old who are driving me crazy. But I love them dearly, and I just cannot imagine a world where they grow up and have to experience something like this. It's something that is very dear to my heart because I'm an African American, obviously a black man in America, and so I worry about my children being stopped, being harassed, and being killed, and their lives being cut short. Right? We've got to do something to change America for our children. Right? We all are people, and we all have blood, and we all love each other. We all love our children. So it's got to stop. And I think there are some simple solutions to this. And I've been thinking about this for a while. There's some things that we can do to try to stop these sorts of problems. But what I'd like to do now is open up the floor, and if anybody has any questions, I'd like to answer, whatever questions you may have.
Will you be filing any sort of civil suit on behalf of the family here, or what are your next steps?
Well, that's always a possibility, but, a lawyer wants to do that maybe as a last resort. If you can communicate with the folks who have done your family wrong, and you can negotiate some changes to maybe the laws and police policies, then sometimes that can be more effective, and that can be easier on the family. And this can be a long, drawn-out process, and the family is hurting right now. Young Daunte he's a young boy right now, so he doesn't necessarily understand what's going on. But believe me, he is going to be affected throughout his entire life, not having his father there to take him to prom or to give him advice, to argue with. Not having his father to be able to emulate and put on his shoes and to be able to mimic, like my kids do to me. They copy me and they follow me all around the house. Who is he going to follow through life? And I know if you have children, if anyone has children in here, you understand what that means. This is America, and everybody's just trying to live the American dream of all colors. So we need to stop this senseless violence for a minor traffic stop. So we need to do something about that. So lawsuits are always a possibility, but, we don't want to always just rush into that. We obviously have to get the family compensation because that's how our system is set up. But that's not how I, run my law practice. My primary focus is to get justice for people, right? And that's first, to get justice and to make sure no one else has to experience what this family has to experience, that no more young boys have to grow up without their fathers. It's important.
If you or the family heard anything, and not about law changes or compensation, just on a more personal level from the police department or from an officer involved, and do you want to?
Well, I think the sore is pretty fresh right now, and I'm not sure if the family would. No one has reached out as far as I know, but obviously we would be open to any dialogue. I think it would be wrong to fight against that. I think it's always good to talk, to folks, to try to give them your perspective, and maybe they could utilize that in making themselves better police departments. Because sometimes I believe that police and police departments and mayors forget who they're working for. You understand? Sometimes I believe, I don't think that they understand that the community is their boss. Right? And they're taxpayers. And they're people that work hard every day. And, and folks that they're killing don't have weapons. And they're just trying to get to work or just trying to go wherever they're trying to get. So we've got to understand that police officers and the community and African Americans have things that are in common. And those things that are in common are that they're people and that they're human beings first. And every time I look up and I say somebody else has been shot, and I sit there and I shake my head and I say, this has got to stop. If we've got to weed out bad apples or we've got to improve training or change laws, then that's a dialogue that we can have, and every community should be able to have with their police department, with their mayor, with their governor, with the lawmakers that they vote in, right? So folks need to understand what kind of power they really have to make changes. And there's some different things that maybe they should think about doing, since some of the things that we keep doing don't necessarily work, right? You know, tearing up your neighborhood is not necessarily going to work. There are probably some other things that you can do that are going to make the powers that be take notice. And lawyers kind of understand those things, because nobody wants to be in a long, drawn-out litigation, for one, right?
Could I ask the same question of China? They didn't hear up for it. I think the question is just like, what would you want to hear from the police department or from the officer?
I don't know what I would want to hear from her. I mean, I just want justice to be served. That's all I really want. Because my son, he doesn't have his father. You know, that's a lot, you know, that they took from him. So I just hope that justice is served on the right terms.
What do you see as justice? What terms, I guess? Can you elaborate on that, or is it hard to?
I don't really know.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a difficult question to ask right now, so I don't want her to really be getting into things that might be directly related to the litigation as well. So if you don't mind, let her kind of step back. And you know, if you have any other questions, I would be happy to kind of address those.
I do have a question for the family. To what extent was Daunte involved in his son's life, and what was that relationship like between the two of them?
Between the baby?
Yeah.
Sorry. Daunte was very involved with his son, and China and Daunte were co-parenting. They were not in a relationship any longer. However, he spent time with his baby, did things with his baby, took his baby to the playground. He was very involved with his son, and they were doing pretty good co-parenting, and I thought they were doing great. So, yes, he was extreme. If you want a percentage, probably 100% involved. Yes, he was. He was a very good dad. He was.
Did anybody else have anything else?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You know, you mentioned, you know, the lasting changes that could happen that Daunte Jr. could see. What sort of policy changes and maybe legal changes do you feel at this point are the most important to push forward on?
Well, I think probably the most important change would be to stop all these senseless arrests and attempted arrests for minor infractions. You have, you know, I've just been hired, so I haven't had a chance to dig into this deeply, but there seems to be a pattern of stopping individuals, African Americans, for minor traffic infractions, and then they get executed. And that should make you wonder, maybe there needs to be, if the police officers can't make life and death decisions and they can't not escalate a situation on a minor traffic infraction to a death sentence, then maybe they shouldn't be allowed to pull people over for minor traffic infractions. Seems to be a simple solution. If you see an air freshener in the rearview mirror, maybe you should just get the plate, or have a camera get the plate and send a ticket. And they can get a ticket in the mail, and he's still alive.
Right, absolutely.
And that would apply to not just African Americans, but Caucasians and all other races, right? And it seems like it would save money. How about if somebody, you know, doesn't make a put their left turn signal on at the light, and because in Texas, that's what we've got to do, right? I got pulled over for that. How about you take my plate and you send me a ticket for that? You got a little camera on there. It's my car, just like the toll. You run the toll, they send you a ticket. That's one possible solution. Minor traffic stops. It seems like there's a pattern of that. You know, you've got Mr. Floyd. You know, you've got a minor situation that escalated into his death. If the police officers can't get it right as it pertains to minor things, now I'm not talking about major things like somebody who's committing a felony, or somebody who's in the act of endangering the public, or somebody who's robbing a store, that's different, okay? But somebody who's maybe selling cigarettes, like in New York, like Mr. Garner, okay, you take his ID, okay, sir, I'm going to write you a ticket. He's alive, right? And we don't have to go through this seemingly Twilight Zone episode every other week, right? And that could be a start, right? But we need to have a dialogue and sit down, every city does, and sit down with community members and leaders and listen, right? Because as a police officer, I would imagine it's your job not to kill people, but to make sure the community is safe for everyone, right? And no one should die in a senseless manner. But every time I turn on the TV, it seems like we've had some sort of situation. We got a little boy in Chicago. I don't know all the facts on that, but he's been shot. You know, it's got to stop. But I think that's a start. Taking a look at that, you know, and I think that's a start, to take a look at minor traffic infractions and how we handle that, especially if the police don't get it right. If I don't do my job right, I get fired, right? And if a firm keeps doing a bad job, they don't get any more work. So you've got to do something to stop these situations before they start, if it makes any sense to you, okay? And you've got a lady who's saying that she meant to grab her taser, you know, a taser that's an entirely different color. That's an entirely different weight. If you've ever held a firearm, that's on the other side of your body, I believe. And she's a 20-year veteran who they're taught to bring that weapon up into the line of sight and not even to look down. So you're telling me that in your line of sight you didn't see a bright yellow weapon? That doesn't ring true. You know, obviously I'm not, you know, a prosecutor on that or anything like that. But that just seems a little bit odd to me. But if you take that situation away and don't allow a police officer to stop somebody for something minor like the air freshener, then it doesn't happen. So I think that's a start. And I think that's a conversation that needs to occur in every city on how to handle anything minor. And maybe there's a different way so that minor offenses, people can just go home to their families. You know, so I think that's something that we should talk about as a nation. You know, I don't have any animosity to anyone of any color, and China and her family don't have any animosity to anybody because of race. You know, but, you know, it seems like we've got a problem where, you know, African Americans are disproportionately imprisoned and killed for minor things. So let's get to know each other better. And I feel like if we can get to know each other better and have a conversation and start dialoguing with these police departments, then maybe we can make some changes when you realize that we're human beings too. Right? I've been pulled over. I've been profiled. You know, they find out I'm a lawyer. They change their tune. Right? I can dress down. You'll never know. Right? They think I'm a thug. Right? They pull me over. You know, they may recognize me. It shouldn't be like that in America. Everybody should be treated equal, because that's what our country is founded upon: equality, Constitution, Bill of Rights. Right? Everybody is afforded that. Now, if we want to keep our position as the greatest nation in the world, that's what we believe, right? Then we need to do something about it, because when a country's sick, what happens if you're sick and you don't get yourself cured? You're going to die one day, right? We've got to do something about that as a people if we want to keep enjoying, you know, America and what we stand for. Anyone else?
I just have a quick
yes.
follow-up. The police have said they pulled him over for expired tabs, and I've heard, you know, several family members say it was for air freshener. Do you know what?
Well, I've heard several things, so it's kind of hearsay for me to really get into that. I've heard that it was an air freshener. I've heard they got into it and he might have had some sort of warrant for failure to attend court. And I hear maybe it was sent to the wrong address. But those are still minor things. You know, now the warrant, maybe not, right, depending on what the warrant is for. But if it's for missing court on a ticket, that's kind of a minor thing. That's kind of what I'm getting at. You know, nothing minor should be the end of your life. If you've ever been pulled over by the cops, I have. And I understand why some people run. I'll tell you that. It is a scary situation, because it's their job sometimes, I believe, to try to intimidate, to try to maintain control. And that can be, you know, unnerving. And so having been the victim myself of, you know, illegal stops and things like that, I understand that. But expired tag is one of those minor things that you can just write a ticket for and send it to them in the mail. I'm sure families would rather pay a little bit more money, a $1,000 ticket. I'm sure this family would have rather paid $5,000 ticket than to have their son dead and dying in the street by himself, never able to see his child again, right? I'm sure they'd rather pay a $10,000 fine. Now, that sounds, a little high, but you understand what I'm getting at. There's got to be a way, if you can't do your job without shooting somebody or pulling a taser or a gun, if somebody's fleeing and there's no danger to the public, okay, well, he got away. We'll send him a ticket in the mail. You just go back to the police department. You got your job. You're not in danger of going to prison, having to live with having killed somebody the rest of your life. And this young man is still alive. There's got to be something done about minor offenses. I think it's a big problem, right? And it's not just, you've got African Americans that are experiencing the problem, but of all colors. If you're a Caucasian guy and it's a minor offense, get a ticket in the mail and you can go your merry way. They can figure out a way to take it out of your taxes. They can figure out some sort of other solution rather than being, judge, jury, and executioner on the street. That's why we have judges. That's why we have juries. And police officers, it's their job to make sure the laws are followed, but it's not their job to be the executioner on the street. So we've got to do something about that. It's a problem. It's an American problem. It's everybody's problem. And everybody should be outraged. And if I hear something about a little white boy being killed, a little Indian boy being killed, I'm outraged as a human being. It doesn't matter where in the world. But obviously right now we're talking about Minneapolis and we're talking about America. No problem. Anybody else? And I'd like to give China's, there have been some accounts out there that are masquerading as official GoFundMe accounts and official Cash App accounts that are set up that are saying that they're trying to fundraise for the baby, young Wright Jr. And I want to make sure we give you China's official Cash App account if anybody would like to give, obviously a donation to the public. Just want to kind of clear that up so people aren't scammed out there. It is amazing that people would take this as an opportunity to scam people. I just don't understand that mentality, but I would like for China to give her official Cash App account so we can prevent that from happening.
My Cash App is Hubby, HUBBY 98.
Is there a dollar sign in front of that?
Yep, it's a dollar sign in front of that.
Okay, cool. Thanks, China. And if no one has any other questions, I think we can conclude this. I've got some business cards that I found in my luggage, and if you want some of those, I can give you those as well. But I'm happy to help with any dialogue you need or any sort of conversation that you'd like to have, so that we can stop this sort of situation. Right? I would honestly rather be out of a job if it meant all the young boys in America could survive a simple traffic stop. Right? No, really. I would rather, not have to litigate and fight and show up when somebody dies. That should bother everybody. But we can do what we can do, and we'll get there one day. I'm sure of it. I'm sure we'll get to a point where we can stop this, right? We can get to a point where everybody should be able to live, everybody should be able to have health care, and we should end this nightmare. It seems like a bad episode of Twilight Zone sometimes, right? So, but anyway, that's all I have today. If you want my card, I'll give it to you. And if you have any follow-up questions, just let me know. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. Okay. Uh-oh. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I found them. I found them in my suitcase. I didn't think I brought any. Yeah, where are you based? I'm based at the house. Okay.
How old is Daunte Jr. now? How old is Daunte Jr.?
Baylor, I'm not really up.
How old is Daunte?
Okay. I'm a Texan, but yeah.
Friends with Scott Drew, so is it
Oh, you're friends with who?
Scott Drew. Well, that's
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Nice to meet you.
Appreciate it. I like your mask, man. Like, you got to match your shirt or something? Yeah, me, I just got a base.
Reversible.
Oh, you got a reversible?
Yeah.
Okay, stylish, quite stylish.
Yeah.
Do you have a card on you?
I don't.
And who do you like?
Carolyn.
Well, it's in there.